Hello everybody and welcome to my S.C.A.R.F, the super crazy automatic resin farm, and the mini S.C.A.R.F. It's just a smaller version with less in it. Both of these resin farms can produce, well, this one here produces up to 7 shulker boxes of resin blocks per night, all automatically crafted with a shulker loader. And the smaller one produces 3 shulker boxes of resin blocks per night. Absolutely super crazy rates. And in this video, I'm going to be showing you how it all works. When you first enter the farm, you've got yourself a couple levers here and here. This lever here will actually disable or enable all of the creaking hearts. So when you leave, you can have them all turn off so you won't accidentally get any creakings spawning in the area. I highly recommend either building it above water, so above the ocean, or building it at least 8 blocks above building the creaking hearts at least 8 blocks above the ground. But if you just build it above water, you are perfectly safe and nothing should spawn. You do have to make sure that all of the area 16 blocks away from the creaking hearts is completely spawn proof, otherwise you will get creaking hearts wandering around your world. When you enter the area, let me get back over to the big one. When you enter the killing chamber over here, you enter the killing chamber, you get these few levers. And what you need to do is turn on the farm. We'll turn on the creaking hearts, make them all enabled, and you flick this lever here. This lever will provide a 100 tick pulse, which will go around in a loop, activating all of the pistons to shuffle all of the creaking hearts pale wood, and it gives this really cool pulsating effect. What this does is it knocks off all of the resin once every 5 seconds, which is the time period you need to take in between swiping at the creaking hearts. All of the creaking hearts, all of the creakings will spawn in this top area here. Not all of them. The top 2 layers will spawn in these areas up the top, and the bottom 3 creaking hearts will spawn in these 2 chambers here, which is why they alternate the flushing respectively. When you come down, you would come down into this area here, and you will use your sweeping edge sword to swipe at the armor stand, giving damage to all of the creakings, and then getting all of the resin to spawn onto the pale oak, which falls off, goes into these double speed hopper collection down the bottom, going into these buffer barrels, which then get triple fed into the crafters below, which are all powered by these observers. That then funnels in to a shulker loader here, which comes down producing all of this resin blocks. Absolutely crazy amounts. No, nobody needs this much resin. I know this. On my single player world, I have a double chest full of shulker boxes full of blocks of resin. I don't need them, but I have them. And the main point of this farm is you don't have to use it more than once. You build the farm, you get a butt ton of resin blocks, and you don't have to stand around for night upon night upon night. With this smaller version of the farm, this one here is a lot more efficient because all of these creaking hearts here, all of them, will spawn all of the creakings up the top, and they all get funneled in down into the chute within about 3 pulses of the water. The water will pulse on a T flip-flop, which we use just here using a copper bulb, which does a T flip-flop effect, as you can see there, which allows the creakings to spawn, and then it will flush them all in on the next pulse, giving you all of the creaking hearts. If you'd like a quick demonstration, check this out. Now, if you are building either of these on a server, I highly recommend do not build this one behind me. This one behind me in my single player world does get my MSPT up to about 45, which is very, very close to lowering your TPS below 20. You do not want that. It does take a substantial amount of resources. So if you're on a server, I would highly recommend building this one. It still produces 3 shulker boxes every night of resin blocks, which is plenty of resin blocks per night. And it will only demand about 10 MSPT. So you should be pretty safe to use it. But this one, not so much. This one is very, very demanding. But hey, in my single player world, I have a lot of resin blocks I have no use for. Now that we've gotten through the basics on how all the mechanics of the farms work, I hope I covered everything. I'm not very good at tutorials, okay? I'm not very good at them. But now we've gotten through the basics of this, let's go through a tutorial on how you can build the mini S.C.A.R.F in your survival world. Whether it be a server or your single player world. Like I said, I highly recommend building the mini S.C.A.R.F, but if there's a popular enough demand, I will release another video. If there is enough demand, I will release another video on how to upgrade your farm to the mega S.C.A.R.F. If not, we'll just stick with this mini S.C.A.R.F. It goes pretty hard. 3 shulker boxes a night. Do you really need much more? What you're going to need to do is you're going to need to select an area to build it. A great place to build it is over the ocean, because that way you won't get any spawns. Or, alternatively, if you use path blocks for all of the ground, they will not spawn. Or you can put it over a big hole, as long as the ground is not spawnable. Or, yeah, build it at least 9 blocks above the ground from the lowest creaking point. In this one here, I'm going to show you how to build this one here. And what we need to do to start off with is you need to build an area about 67 blocks from that black wool corner block to this black wool corner block, and then 63 blocks from that block all the way to that block over there. Once you've got that, you need to come in 12 blocks from the side. So we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. This is where we're going to be building this. We need to come in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 right here. We also need to come up another 12 blocks. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So here we go. Right. Now, the first thing we need to do after you've got this block here, which is 12 up from the ground, 12 across from the 63 long, and 13 across from the 67 long, we can now start to build ourselves this platform, which is going to be the collection chamber for all of the resin. The top part of this will be 35 long by 9 across. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then we need to go now 35 long. Once you've built this platform, 35 long and 9 across, you need to repeat that on the other side. Both platforms done. We have 12 blocks in between this wall and this platform. We have 13 blocks between the front of the farm and that block right down there. After we've gotten that one, then we need to come down and we need to go 8 blocks across. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and do another platform that is 35 long. Once you've got these built up, 9 across, 35 long, 8 across, 35 long, you've got that on both sides. Then we need to build ourselves up a wall that goes around the whole thing, which is going to be 8 blocks tall from the outside corner. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm using glass so I can see into the farm, but ultimately you don't have to use glass. You could use any block you really want to. The main thing with Creekings is that we make the tops of them completely spawn proof, which is why we have slabs on top of everything, because Creekings can spawn on glass. Yes. So let's get this wall, which has to go all the way across. Let's go down here, all the way across here. It will go all the way across. And we'll get this built up the whole way around. I almost missed a bit here. My apologies. We actually need to come out 2 more blocks on this side, 2 more blocks on this side. We leave these because this is where the hoppers are going to go. But in here, we want to bring out these blocks. Like I said, we still need to build this wall that goes all the way across. Yep, we need to build this wall that goes all the way across to here. And the same thing that goes all the way across. This needs to be 8 blocks tall from this side here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That wasn't right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Which, just checking it's the same on the other side there. Fantastic. So we need to build this wall up so none of the resin falls out the side of the farm. Once you've got the wall up on all of this, you also would like to replace all of these blocks here with composters. They are going to help with a little bit of the lag coming from the double speed hoppers. Replacing all of those, and once you've got this side here done, repeat for the other side. Now we've got ourselves the 2 collection chambers. We want to fill in all of these blocks here with water buckets and repeat on the other side, on down the bottom layer as well. This will push all the water down, all the resin down here. Repeat that here. And after we've done this, we're going to install the double speed hoppers, which, let's grab these out here. Now in order to do that, we can just place these all under here like this. Place all of these. What they will do is, these hoppers here will push items into the barrels below them. And these hoppers here will push them into there. Oopsies, just like this. So this is how we're going to build ourselves a double speed hopper system. What'll happen is, let me give you a quick preview right here. So this hopper here will collect them. This one will pull them out. And then this one here will also push them into here, which means this hopper will be emptied twice as fast as a usual hopper, meaning we can fill up these buffer barrels nice and quickly. So once you've gotten all of your hoppers, barrels, and composters in, it should look something like this. Now it's time to start placing all the redstone. We need to place all the redstone before we place all of the hearts and the observers in order to make sure that the observers don't pulse and everything gets out of timing, because that can be a bit of a pain to fix. What we want to do is we want to come in 1 block from the side on this one and 3 blocks in, and this is where we're going to be placing our first creaking heart, right about here. Like I said, we don't want to be placing that one just yet. First thing we're going to want to do is we want to be placing our observers. So we're going to want to put these alternatively just like this. We don't need to put one on the far outside just there. So it's just 7 observers out, making sure they all have the face on the outside. Can we see them? Yep. The face is going on the outside and the pulsificator is on the inside. On these, we can attach our sticky pistons like so. And then above these ones, let me just double check. Yep, we have got that correct. Above these ones, we want to have 1 block space, which is where the creaking heart is going to go. And then we are going to repeat. But this time, we're going to have 2 on top of each other. So we're going to have 1 here, 1 here. And that is going to go for just the second layer. Then the top layer above it, we just have the 1. So it should look exactly like this when we are done. Now we've gotten to this point. We need to add some glass in between here. This will stop the resin from landing on top of the pistons. We'll add that glass right about there and all of above these ones as well. There we go. Now that's all been added, we can do this on the other side. Once we've gotten all the observers placed in, we now need to add all of the redstone that goes behind them. The bottom layer just needs to be straight glass blocks that go across like so. The next layer is a little bit different. each one of the observers needs to have a note block in front of it, like this. Once we've gotten that on those ones there, we can then grab our redstone dust, which is right here. We can grab our redstone dust, and we can place that across. As you see, all of these will pulse, which is exactly what we don't want if we've built in all of... Could you imagine if you built in all of the creaking hearts and then they all start pulsing and putting things out in the wrong spaces? Exactly what you don't want. So let's get all these in and then repeat this on the other side. Now with both sides up, with the redstone placed on all of those, the next thing we want to do is we do want to connect those up to a central tower, which we do need to get rid of that one and that one, replace them with hoppers. Not hoppers, these are repeaters. Put those... Oh my wordy lordy. Okay, put that in there, put that one there. Alright, and then we need a tower that goes up like so. We'll get rid of that one. Nope, that was not the right one to get rid of. You wombat. Get rid of that one, get rid of that one, get rid of that one. Place this going all the way up. This is the tower we're going to be using to activating the flusher units on the top and to pulse all of those. Now to get a signal from this one here, we will need to go like that, which will connect just there. This needs to be glass. A lot of the places, like on the back here, where the redstone is sitting, you do not need to use glass. I'm just using glass because I like it, and you can see straight through it. I like being able to see all of the bits and bobs, as opposed to using stone brick, and it gets, well, you can't see through it. This one here, it's like those old Game Boys. Remember those old Game Boys and the old Macintosh and stuff, and you could see straight through them? I like those. Those were cool. Now we've gotten that one there like that. We need to come across like this. And there we are. This block here, actually, by memory, pretty sure has to be... Yes, it does. This block right here has to be a solid block. Because... Let me grab a solid block out of here. This one here has to be a solid block. Because we're going to put a repeater going into it right there. Which then goes backwards over this way. Alright, I made a mistake, guys. Go back a bit. Sorry, go back a bit. This doesn't go here. Does not go here. My apologies. It actually goes one lower. My apologies, everybody. I have made a slight boo-boo. This needs to be on this level. My apologies. This needs to go onto this level here, which then gets pushed here. That does not need to be on 2 ticks. That can stay on 1 tick. We go there, and then that all pulses up. That is the way, there you go, that's the way it needs to be right there. Now we've gotten all this in, what you will have to remember is we will need to put something like a slab. It needs to be a full block. It must be a full block. Redstone dust will not spawn proof from Creekings, nor will buttons, nor will chains, nor will iron bars. Creekings have got a very weird spawn mechanic. They're very similar to reinforcements with zombies. They don't spawn in the center of the block. They spawn just off the center in the corners. Just off the center in the corners. Well done. They spawn in the corners, which means, as you can see, the hitbox of the redstone dust here, it does not protrude all the way to the corner. It stops, so they can still spawn on top of this. In order to prevent that, we will need to cover all of this top layer with a top slab, just like that. We will get to the rest of this tower later. There's still a little bit more to be built. All of this will be perfectly fine. As you can see, they cannot spawn here because they will bump their heads on the block above it. So we don't need to worry about any of that. The next part of this build is probably where it starts to get dangerous. So what you're going to want to do is you do definitely want to slab off anything that can be spawned on by a creaking before we continue building this. What's going to happen is we're going to start putting in the creaking hearts. and all of the Creaking Heart modules. So all of this will need to be slabbed off while you're building it. What you're going to need to do is you need to come out one in front of the piston. So the pistons will be attaching to the pale oak logs. You want to attach a Creaking Heart, and then you want to put 2 pale logs above it, another Creaking Heart, and another pale log, like so, followed by a glass block and a stone slab. While you're doing this, you can also fill in all of this area right here, because this will all be needing to be covered up to stop resin blocks from going up onto and popping up onto the roof. This will all need to be covered up. Otherwise, yeah, because as soon as it hits nighttime, they will spawn. And I highly recommend, while you're building this, keep a bed somewhere nearby. Build it while you've got elytra. That's the way I did it when I was in my single player world. And as soon as it got down to the sun going down, I would quickly jump up, fly away, go to my bed and sleep. So that way I could repeat the process. This is nigh impossible to build while it is nighttime. It is so hard. And what you need to do is just repeat this process all the way across. Where do we have this one here? You just repeat this all the way across, like so. Keep going all the way that way. And on the front of these, what you will also want to do next, after putting in these ones, is the same thing we've just done on the back. Whoopsies, not there. Same thing as on the back, with the observer into a piston with a glass block on top of them. Now, whether you want to keep going across this way is completely up to you. You can keep going like this all the way across and finish one line that way, or you can just keep doing them this way. Either way, we now need to fill up this entire space with these modules. Okay, I'm going to fill up all of this area and repeat it on the other side. And just remember, while you're doing it, remember to use slabs on the top of all of the glass blocks that you place. Otherwise, you are going to have a bad time. And again, I highly recommend sleeping at night. Otherwise, they will spawn. And just to prevent them spawning on top of this while we're building it, I am going to put some of these on top like that. That should stop them spawning over there. They might spawn over here though, so I'm also going to cover this up as well. Future Nips here. When you're placing all of the Creaking Hearts and all the glass in between them, in the middle row, make sure you place yourself some frog lights, glowstone, sea lanterns, anything that can emit some light level, so that way you don't get zombies, creepers, and skeletons spawning on these blocks. If they do, they will mess up the auto crafters. I had a slight oversight when I was making it, but if you do that, you will not get any of them spawning in. It just needs to be in the middle row, wherever the middle row is in this one here. I can't even see it here. There it is, way over there. It just needs to be inside the middle row. So the third one, fourth one across, inside there, down the bottom. Make sure you put some frog lights in there. Doesn't need to be all of them, but you just need to make sure that all of the Creaking Hearts, when it is retracted, are turned off. Otherwise you will get mobs spawning into there and the auto crafters will not run. Right, now that we've got all of the Creaking Hearts placed and they are all active, what we want to do is we want to make them all inactive, which is going to make building the rest of the farm super easy. So, as you know, we've already built this redstone tower here. If we come over and just put a lever on the end of it and flick it on, it will turn off all of the hearts. Now we don't have to worry if it's nighttime, because they won't spawn. And we can get on to building the rest of the farm. Now we're going to install the 100 tick clock, which gives us a 5-second delay, which means this here needs to be 19 long. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Then we need to build this across as a little T-junction, and needs to be 7 long here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And we build this across. This is where we're going to put all of the repeaters. We can now add... It doesn't really matter if this redstone dust gets turned on. It really doesn't really make any of a difference at all. And we need to put this one here and here. We need to grab out some repeaters. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on that side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 on this side. Now these all need to be put to a 4-tick delay. Except for this one. This one needs to be on a 2-tick delay. We put a redstone dust here. We grab ourselves an observer. We face the observer like this. We put another redstone dust here. And we need to put another observer just facing up this way, like that. So when we use the piston to push down this observer here, it will pulse one pulse. It'll go around and it will take 100 ticks to get around to the front. Each of these is 4 ticks. Actually, redstone works in double ticks. So yeah. So we got 1 tick here, we got 1 tick there, we got 2 ticks there. There's your 100 tick delay right there. In order to install the off switch for the machine, we need to come out this way. We need to come out over around this way here. That one does not go there. What we want to do is we want to run a redstone signal along the side here. We want to put a repeater here so it doesn't interfere with this one over here. And we need to put another repeater here and another repeater right here. Now, when we... Oh, actually, you know what? While we're here, we can also place the sticky piston that goes just here, which will act as the turn off and on. We can test that now. That will go around. It will take 100 ticks in order for that to get all the way around and keep going. Right now, it will not do anything because we have this lever on, which is also what we're going to do with this block right here. If we put our other second lever on top of this one right here, we can now turn this lever on. We can remove this torch here. Probably don't want to do this at night time because we'll get a bunch of bad guys spawning in here, so we don't want to do that. Let's go to bed real quick. Let's go to bed real quick. And now that it's daytime, I can comfortably come down here. We can... I'll turn this pulse off just while we do it. We can get rid of this guy here, replace it with that. And as you can see, we got a power 1 right there. This will be our on and off switch right here. So we can turn the machine on and we can turn the machine off. Very simple like that. There you go. We want to make sure we keep this thing turned off so we don't get any bad guys spawning in. Next, we want to build the creeper whacking chamber. In order to do that one, we're going to want to have... We want to cover up all of this redstone here. We'll just cover up all of this around here. And, you know, get rid of all that real quick. Just cover it all up. Directly 1 block on top of it. So we've got access to this lever right here. And we have access to that piston and lever right there also. After we've done that, we need to put a roof over the top of our little chamber here. Put a little roof over the top. So that way the bad guys can't get in and kill us. They are 2.5 blocks, 2.4 blocks, something like that. I can't remember exactly the top of my head. But they can't fit through a 3 high, which is what you want. We can build this one up at 3 blocks. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, all of those. We don't need this to be here. That's a bit too far. We want to now make this chamber only 3 wide. So we'll just put those blocks there. We have now got a 3 by 2 chamber here. We now need to finish this on the other side as well. Before we do that, I will grab some trapdoors. Trapdoors is with one those. We'll use some pale oak. That seems fitting. We put these trap oak doors. We want to put them right about here. Put them right about there. We use a stone brick slab here so we can fit an armor stand on top of it. We want to put that armor stand right about there. Boom. That is what we're going to be swiping at with our sweeping edge. Once we've got that, we don't necessarily need all of this, to be completely honest. What we do need to do is we need to grab ourselves some more slabs. Now again, they don't have to be stone slabs. They could be pale oak slabs. They could be any slab you want. And we want to build these 7 across. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. We want to put these here because that way we won't get any bad guys spawning on top of them. You also want to grab yourself some stairs. You want to put the stairs at this height, right, just one above it, so that when we put waterlog these, they will flow on top of this stone bricks and push all the guys in. Same on the other side. 1, 2, whoops, not the right block. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Finish all of these. And then on the 8th one, we will put some stone stairs. There we go. The next step after this one is we need to fill in all of this area here with glass blocks. So that way, when the guys spawn up the top, fill in all of this here with glass blocks so that the creakings will fall down and land into the water streams. Let me just get these all done and we can go on to the next bit. Now we've gotten these walls up, so we've got a 3 wide chamber. We can build the wall up on the other side over here. Grab ourselves a water bucket. Put the water into the stairs like so, which will push the creakings down. Yes, it does hover above the slabs. That's perfectly fine. The creakings will spawn in here and they will still get pushed across. Once we've done it on that side, you can come over to this side and you can fill in this wall here, and you can then waterlog these ones, which will then push it onto that side. Fantastic. Apparently I need to do the middle one as well. Cool. That is the pushificator for in there. What you want to do above this is you want to make sure you have got that all slabbed, otherwise they will come in and they will hurt you. What you also would like to do is, in order to make sure you've got some way to get into the farm nice and easily, you want to put some slabs down here. Whether you want to put yourself a ladder to come up is up to you. Whether you have a light tree to fly up. I personally like to have a ladder that goes up into here. I would just recommend maybe covering up just a few more and maybe putting a ladder that goes straight down to the bottom, and then you have yourself an easy access to get to the top. Bit of a tedious part of building the farm, but now we need to remove a whole bunch of these slabs that we've put up here. We had to have them there so that the creakings didn't spawn in, but now the creakings won't spawn in, so we can remove a bunch of these until we get to 4 on the end here, and we want these to be 3 high, just like so, going all the way from one side to the other, all the way across to this side as well. Let me just get these. Oops, these don't lose that one there. And we can go 1, 2, 3, 4 like that, and these need to be 3 high like so. Get this done on both sides across here as well. Once those are both placed in, remember 4 blocks in, and what we need to do now is we need to remove all of the stone slabs in this area I don't want cracked stone. That was silly of me. Let's grab some stone. Nope, that's not how you spell stone, you wombat. Some stone bricks. Where are the stone bricks? Stone bricks. Let's put those back into there. Stone bricks. Yep, let's grab these. We want to put these all up in here. These are what we're going to use to activate our trap doors to release the water to flush all of the guys in. We want to put some redstone line above all of these, like so. We're going to need to do this on both sides, and we're going to need to, like the rest of the build, slab anything we don't want them spawning on. So that's over the top of this and over the top of this. We will need a slab over the top of this part because we're going to be putting trapdoors in there, and they can spawn on top of the trapdoors. So we will be spawning on spawn proofing. Oops, not one like that. Spawn proofing all the way across, and then repeating this on the other side. Once we've gotten the wall going around the outside, we've gotten the redstone on top of those solid blocks. Those have to be solid blocks, both sides, and all of this is now slabbed. What we now need to do is we now need to raise this floor 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and we need to get that all the way across to the other side. Like I said before, I'm using glass. However, glass is good for a couple reasons. One of the best reasons for using glass is no other mob can spawn on it. So you won't get creepers, you won't get drowned. I don't know why you'd get drowned, but you won't get creepers, skeletons, zombies, endermen. What else is a bad guy that can spawn? You won't be getting any of those mobs. So that's why I'm using glass. Plus, also, like I said, you can see through it. So it looks really, really cool. Like those old Macintosh computers and Game Boys and stuff that used to be like that. Once you've gotten that like this, we then need to place all of the trapdoors. Maybe I shouldn't have placed that roof first. In hindsight. Oh look, it's alright, we can do this. Yep, so we want to place all of these in here, like that. It's alright, they don't have, doesn't really matter if they're up or down, but I'll put them all down so I can show you the water. Which, once we've put all the water into here, it will now flush all of the guys down. It doesn't need to be 8, it needs to be 7. I'm a bit of a wombat. There we go. Make this one 7, not 8. And then it's going to use the flusher for Creaaking and get them all down to the end. So I'm just going to go over that again because I made a mistake. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Go all the way across to the other side. Fill in all of this. And then once we've done that, we put the trapdoors in here. In here. Yeah. Just like that. Okay, this is easier. There are obviously easier ways to do it if you actually, you know, do it properly. But I'm, like, really terrible at actually doing things properly and really good at just, you know, making mistakes. Now we've got the spawning platforms in that are all nicely waterlogged with the trapdoors and the redstone. We need to come down to... Is it this block here? I think it's this block here. It's this block here, and we come across in by 1 like so, and we go all the way out till we're in line with the note blocks out the back here, and keep going all the way around. This needs to meet up with this one, as it does. It meets up with this, and then we go around the other side as well. Keep going all the way around until we get one from the edge. And continue that around again and go in right about there. Make sure we do cover all of this up, but first, before we do that, I am going to get the appropriate stuff. We need to put a repeater there, go around with a redstone line all the way to this block here. We want to now grab ourselves a target block, put the target block right here, and grab ourselves a redstone torch. When we put the redstone torch, that will close all of the trapdoors, which is where the Creekings are going to spawn. Remembering, once we are done with anything that is redstone, we always cover it up with some stone, or with some rails, with some slabs, in order to prevent any spawning from happening. I have gone one too far on that side. That's fine. Let's go put this one here and go across to this side round to there. We don't need that one there. We put the target block here and we put that one right there. Fantastic. Just looking at it, this actually does not need to be a target block. If you would like, you can actually use a normal, regular stone block, planks. You could use dirt if you wanted to. I don't recommend using dirt, to be completely honest. After that, we need to now put a pulsificator, which goes into this. So we're going to now have 4 redstone coming from the corner block, 4 redstone, and followed that by a comparator. Oh, where's the comparator? Comparator. Put the comparators, one facing in each direction. Put the redstone around like so, and a repeater going into it. Keep the redstone running all the way until you get to the tower, and we will put a comparator here. We'll also put a comparator on the other side. We'll get ourselves a copper bulb, which is this one right here. It doesn't matter what level of copper bulb it is, just needs to be a copper bulb, which we can put on like so. As you see, that is going to pulse all of that, which I don't actually want right now. So I'm just going to use a button real quick to, you know what? That can stay like that. We'll continue it on. We'll continue this on. Now, 1, 2, 3, 4. We will grab those to come in like that. We will then grab a comparator after the 4th one, pointing into the target block, which, remember, does not have to be a target block, but that's what I've used. You know what? I'll prove it doesn't have to be a target block. I'll put that there. Hooray! We wrap the redstone around the comparators. We put a repeater here, and that will now flush that like so. Once we've done with all the redstone, we cover it all up. I'll make this actually go directly on top. Nice and simple. All of these must be covered, otherwise we will be getting creakings spawning, and we do not want that. Putting one above there. Keep coming back. If I have forgotten where one goes, or if you do happen to miss one in the tutorial, don't be stressing out. Just have a find out where you're spawning in and make sure you put one above it. All of these will be perfectly fine because they've got another block directly above it, so they can't spawn. But if I happen to have missed one, oh, like in down here, for instance. Yeah, watch out. How do I miss that one? That looks like it's literally done. And it's as simple as that. It's as simple as that, he says. We've got all of the redstone for the trap doors. We've got the T flip-flop up there. We've got the 2 pulse units on each side. That goes through there. Sweet. Now, if we come down into here. What we can do now is we can turn the machine on. Sweet. And we use the pulse unit here, which will go around, kick all of these in the guts. They will pulse like that, which will shake off all of the resin. Like I said, it looks really, really good having all the glass so you can actually see things functioning as opposed to having it all blocked off. And every second cycle, this T flip-flop will flip-flop, which will flush the creakings into the hole down here, which we will then be using the armor stand to get our sweeping edge on. Now, we have the last bit of the farm to build, which is going to be building the auto crafters and the shulker loader down the bottom for all the storage. If you'd like, you could just leave it like it is right here. I mean, it works. You can just have your drops all into barrels, But if you want to have all the auto crafters, I highly recommend it. It'll put them all into shulker box. It'll put them all into blocks and then into shulker boxes, and you'll get about 3 shulker boxes per night. The next step of this to get all the auto crafters up and running is we need to put a hopper facing down into each one of these barrels. Now, these barrels are not entirely 100% necessary. However, they do act as a good buffer if you use this farm for multiple days. If you keep using this farm constantly without having any breaks, these can tend to fill up. So they're a really good buffer to have. You want to come across after placing all of these hoppers in. You want to come across to the second one. You want to put a autocrafter facing in towards the farm. You want to skip 2, place an autocrafter, skip 2, place an autocrafter. Continue this on all of the way across. And then once you've done that, you want to feed these other hoppers into the sides like so. Continue this on all the way and you will get 3 hoppers per autocrafter. Once we've gotten all of the autocrafters and hoppers on each side, now what we need to do is we need to get them into some barrels. Again, for a bit of a buffer, we can put these here like so. Put all of the barrels one on each side of here. We're also going to get some composters on top of all of the hoppers, which you're going to run. You want to run on the 4th barrel here, right? On the 4th barrel, we're just going to come across to this one here. We're going to come down, place a couple hoppers like so. A couple hoppers like so. This is on the 4th barrel from the front of the farm. On the 4th barrel, you place those hoppers and we will then come across going underneath all of these barrels here, all of these barrels here, going in both directions. Once we've gotten all of those, you do want to cover all of the composters, you want to cover all of the hoppers with composters. This will help with a bit of the lag. So we've got there, we'll go composter on top of all of these, like so. The last thing you're gonna have to also remember is if you do not have, which we do not, if we do not have blocks above them, then we will be getting Creekings spawning in there. So we want to cover all of these like that. We will get, which way do we go? This way here. Cover up all of these with some slabs to prevent any more spawns of the bad guys. We only want them spawning in the killing chamber, in the spawning chambers. So we don't want them spawning anywhere else. Get this all covered up like so. Put these ones here. Go around to the other side. Continue that. Cover all of those up. Cover all of these. We'll make sure we put the composters on top of the hoppers like there. Sweet. Now, the next step is a little bit of an annoying one, but we need to now put in all of the observers. Now, they need to face into each other, which they are not doing right now. But if I place them all like this, not like that, nor, but like that, place them all facing down, I can then come to the top and flick them like this, break the top one, replace it. And as you can see on the sides, the arrows are facing away from each other. So they should all be pulsing now, like that. They'll all be pulsing and they will craft every time we get a full stack of blocks into a full stack of resin into those. Crafting them, coming out of the buffer barrels through here, and they will end up in these. They will end up into these right here, which we also need to place like, place like that. This way we've got a 3 feed shulker loader. Let me get these other ones all done up. Alright, now bear with me as I try to remember how to build this thingy, because these things are a bit of... I always forget how to build them. But what we're going to need... Let me get rid of a bunch of this stuff. We're going to need a dispenser. We're going to need a dropper. We grab the dispenser, we face that one
wait, we don't put that there. We want to put the shulker box there. So we want to put a dispenser facing up into these spaces here. This is where we can put our shulker box. We can put our shulker box right there on top of it. We don't need that block just there. I'm just using a couple temporary blocks. From the back of the farm, so facing the front, we want to use a dropper facing directly into it, with some hoppers going into the back of that, like so. Next, we need to grab ourselves a sticky piston. The sticky piston needs to sit on top of the hopper going into the dropper, where we need to put an observer facing down. That observer needs to face down with the face facing upwards, like so. We now need to come across, and no, we don't, sorry, we don't come across. We put an observer facing backwards. This will be there to pulse, to activate that piston. If you would like to have some more shulker boxes, you want to put some shulker boxes into there, which will feed into the dropper, which will then come out of the dispenser. I'll actually put a couple in here as well. Next thing after that bit there, we're going to need to grab a hopper and face it straight down. Oopsies, not there. Into this area here. Oh no! Oh no! That's alright, we can replace that. Dunk, just like so. Do I have any chests on me? I don't, but I can grab some chests. There's a chest right there. Well, I actually think this would be better off being a chest right here, like so. We use the hopper to go straight into it. Hopper goes straight into it like that, with a comparator facing away from it. So this way, when the shulker box gets full, the comparator will read it and will give off a signal strength, so it will then pulse into this block. There it is. It'll pulse into this block, which will activate this, which will then activate this one right here. Oopsies. Let's try and do this without... did I get that right? Yes, I got that right. Fantastic, fantastic. We'll push like that, and that there is what's going to happen, which we didn't want to happen. That's fine, it's fine, it's fine. We can fix that in a second. I'm just going to throw that on the ground. Go away. Put one of these here, one of those there. Fantastic. Boom. Fixed it. Sweet. So that is your shulker loader. Now we can put a few more of these down here, depending on, like I said, how long you want to run this thing. Granted, you'd have to have enough shulkers in the back of it in order for it to run. We put this one here, covering up those so we don't get creaking spawning on top of that. Same with here. We don't want creaking spawning on top of that. And there you have it. We've got one dispenser full there. The dropper's full. We can fill up this the rest of the way. We are now ready to run the farm. And look at that. It's almost nighttime. Sweet. So, if I get down into this killing chamber, I turn the creaking hearts on. I turn the farm on. Grab ourselves our sword out. Then, if you get an auto clicker set to 5,000 milliseconds, which I happen to have right there ready to go, you can swipe, and you swipe when they're not waiting for them to push. Engage your auto clicker. Probably should put yourself into survival first, to be completely honest. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no, I can't. Oh no. Okay, well, let's go into survival. There we go. There you go. Well, okay. You're not meant to break the armor stand. You're not meant to break the armor stand. But that's as simple as that. It is as simple as that. And as you can see, they all get shot off, all falls in. It works absolutely brilliantly. Just double checking now. Let's double check to make sure that these guys here are, yep, they're resin clumping. They're going in. They're going in on that one. Fantastic. So these are all working. They're all creating blocks. We come down into here. That's filling that up really fast. As you can see, it fills up super, super quickly. That is resin blocks. And you just sit here, AFK with your auto clicker going. Now, if you want to, and I'd highly recommend it, if you want to run this over long periods of time, you should get a beacon. What's that thing called? Rejuvenation? No, not what's it called? The thingy that makes you not resistance. The one that makes you not die. You want to get a beacon and you want to put it at the front of the farm somewhere. Make sure it is spawn proof. You want to put, oh my word, I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head. You want to get one of them, put the thingy on there, so that way you can just sit here and swipe away. You could sit here overnight if you wanted to and just keep getting as many resin blocks as you wanted. This will produce about 3 shulker boxes per night. It's already done a shulker box. Like, it's already done 1 shulker box, and it's still going flat out. This will produce many a shulker box per night. I don't think anyone's ever going to need that much. And, well, there you go. There you go, guys. That is how you produce. You can't see me because I'm behind these guys. But that is how you produce. Look, now you can see me. Hello. There. Now you can see me. That's how you produce a creeking farm with 228 creekings in it. That will give you 3 shulker boxes of resin per night. Resin blocks. It is one of the coolest resin farms I have seen, and it's the only resin farm I know that you can actually turn the creaking hearts off when you're not using it. Does it really make a difference? Not really. But it is a good feeling knowing that there's not creaking hearts spawning all around the place and scaring you. And there you go. Thanks for coming down to the tutorial. And like I said, if you want to know how to build the big scarf, I just need a bit more popularity, and I will do I'll do another video on how to upgrade this one to the bigger scarf, which is a little bit more complicated because, well, it's a bit bigger. It's got a few more things involved into it. It's got flushing units in it. This one has flushes, and yeah, that's pretty much the big difference is it's the flushes. This one is a lot more simple. So yeah, thanks for coming on down, guys. Hope you enjoyed, and I will see you guys all next time. Ciao for now.